Welcome to Dark Tales for English Learners, a place where you can improve your English and test your courage. This is a listening story for levels A2 and B1. Put on your headphones, focus your mind, and listen carefully. Because tonight's story takes you somewhere deep below. It's called The Elevator Ride.
Clara worked late that night, finishing important reports long after everyone else had gone home. She was tired, but she knew the job had to be done. The large office was silent, the kind of silence that made every click of her keyboard echo through the empty halls. It was a lonely sound. When she finally packed her things and stepped into the elevator, it was almost midnight. She felt a mix of relief and deep fatigue. She pressed the button for the 10th floor, the top floor, where the parking lot exit was. The metal doors slid shut with a soft chime. The elevator began to rise, humming quietly, taking her away from the dark depths of the building.
Part 1. The Stop. The ride was quiet for a few seconds. Clara looked at her phone, checking for new messages. Then, halfway up, between floors, the elevator stopped. The movement was sudden and jarring. Clara lost her balance for a moment. The lights flickered once, twice, then went out. The entire elevator was instantly swallowed by darkness. Clara's reflection vanished from the mirrored stainless steel walls. The air felt thick and heavy.
Clara tried to stay calm. She knew that old buildings sometimes had power issues. "Hello?" she whispered, her voice sounding small in the sudden void. She pressed the emergency button. She held it down for 5 long seconds. No sound came back. No voice. No response. Only the sound of thick cables creaking above her. Slow, strained, like giant bones were moving. The sound was too close. Part 2. The Darkness Beyond. Clara reached for the phone again, trying to use the screen light, but the screen stayed dark. She felt a knot of fear tightening in her stomach. Then, with a faint metallic groan, the doors began to open. Clara thought they would reveal the hallway of a floor, maybe the 5th floor. She hoped to see the familiar carpet and office light. But instead of a hallway or a floor number, there was only darkness. A wall impossibly close, black and uneven, like wet, rough stone. It was just inches from the elevator threshold. The material looked unnatural, like the inside of a cave, not an office building. The air turned cold. A sudden draft hit Clara's face. A faint, dry whisper drifted in, though the small space beyond the doors was sealed tight by that strange wall. The whisper was not words. It was just sound, dry and thin. Clara's breathing quickened. Her mind was racing. This was not normal. Her building did not have walls of wet stone between the floors. She jabbed the closed doors button again and again, hitting the hard plastic with panic. The doors shut. Silence returned. A deep, dangerous silence. Part 3. The Descent.
Clara stood motionless, waiting for the building to start again. Then, suddenly, the elevator began to move again, but it was moving the wrong way, downward. The movement was too fast, and the noise was terrifying. The floor indicator began to blink. 9, 8, 7, 6. The hum became a roar, the loud sound of old machinery screaming. The numbers blurred into red streaks as they flashed down the column. "Stop!" she screamed, hitting the buttons now with her fist. But the buttons were dead. The panel was cold and unresponsive. She was not in control. She felt weightless. The air was rushing past her, though she was in a metal box. The speed increased even more. She closed her eyes and held on to the handrail, waiting for the inevitable crash. The numbers flashed past the ground floor, G, and continued down. B1, B2. At B3, the elevator slammed to a sudden violent halt. The impact was strong, shaking the entire cabin. Part 4. The basement below. The loud noise stopped. The lights flickered back on, dim, sickly yellow. The light was weak and gave everything an unhealthy color. Clara opened her eyes. Her legs were shaking. She checked her body. She was not injured. The doors opened once more. This time, a long corridor stretched ahead. It was lit by the same dim, sickly yellow glow. The walls were concrete and dirty. Clara didn't recognize it. Her modern office building did not have a basement that deep. The lowest basement floor was B2, used for storage. What was B3? She looked down the corridor. It was long, stretching into the darkness. The air was stagnant and very cold. A shadow moved at the far end, slow, human-shaped. It was very tall and did not move quite right. It seemed to be watching her, waiting. Clara stayed pressed against the back of the elevator wall. She didn't want to breathe. Then the elevator chimed softly, a friendly, normal chime, as if inviting her to step out. Come outside. The ride is over. She did not move. She knew she could not leave the safety of the metal box. She watched the shadow at the end of the hall. It moved again, perhaps a little closer. The doors began to close on their own. Clara sighed with relief. The elevator began to move again, this time up. The ascent was slow, quiet, and perfectly normal. The terror was gone, replaced by the calm, steady hum of the machinery. Clara stared at the floor indicator. It went up as it should. 1, 2, 3. Then it stopped at 4. The floor was not her destination, but the elevator stopped anyway. The doors opened. It was the regular hallway of her building, gray carpet, white walls, and bright fluorescent lights. Everything was normal. Clara looked at her reflection in the mirror opposite her. She was pale and sweaty. Her hair was messy. She was exhausted. Then the terrifying thing happened. Her reflection in the mirror smiled, a slow, satisfied smile. And then her reflection stepped out first. The real Clara stood frozen. Her reflection walked out of the elevator and turned down the hallway, heading toward the staircase, moving quickly but silently. The reflection was wearing Clara's clothes, carrying Clara's bag. It was Clara. Clara tried to scream, but no sound came out. She couldn't move her feet. The doors slid shut again. The reflection was gone. The floor indicator began to move again, continuing up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When the elevator reached the 10th floor, the door opened normally. Clara walked out onto the parking level. But as she walked to her car, she felt lighter, and she couldn't stop thinking about the black darkness of B3. She reached her car and looked in the side mirror. Her face was calm now, too calm, and her eyes looked slightly darker than before. Clara didn't know who was waiting for her at home, and she didn't know who was driving the car. She felt like she was an empty box, and the memory of the cold darkness was the only thing inside. She turned the key. The engine started with a low, quiet hum, just like the elevator. You've just heard the elevator ride. Was it only a dream, or did something really happen between those floors? Now, it's your turn. What do you think was waiting on floor B3? Write your answer in the comments below. And don't forget, new stories come every week. Subscribe, practice your English, and keep the lights on when you listen next time. Good night.